Hello, everybody. It's Marci from wavesofcommunication.com with another energy focus video for you. I'm in a new location, my new location, but it's not done yet. So bear with me as I get my technology set up moving forward and dig in because we've got some big things to talk about on this week's energy focus video. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, my name is Marci Melzer. I'm an intuitive, a speech language pathologist, and a language facilitation coach and consultant. And in this video, you get to learn how to put all those things together so that you yourself can become an intuitive language facilitator and get the most benefit from your efforts with the late talking child in your life. So, welcome everybody. There's a lot of synchronicities about today's video. You can see by my background, it's very gray. And what I'm going to talk about on this video, well, let's first of all, we're going to pull up this week's topic, which is this one, retrograde coming, and not just retrograde. So first thing we're going to do is talk about the astrology and the retrograde and all of that going on. And then I'm going to share with you my top 3 videos for the week from the Waves of Communication platform that will help you work with the energies that are going on right now. And finally, I'm going to pull a language facilitation inspiration card for the collective of everybody who's watching either live or on the replay. And if you are watching live, you're welcome to comment, excuse me. At the end, I will get a video. I'll pull a card for you at the end of all my information for you. So this information is for everybody, no matter when you were born, no matter what's going on. It's very general. And if you want to know more about astrology in your own life, then you should go to astro.com or one of the great websites and download your chart and learn. You can go down a whole rabbit hole about it. But what I like to do on these videos is for those of you who are curious and you don't have a lot of time to go down that rabbit hole, we talk about the astrology that's going on that's affecting everybody. And it's up to you, the watcher and listener, to be the one who is taking the information that I share and using it yourself. That's the whole point of these energy focused videos. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling situations going on in your life, you might learn why they're happening and what you can do about them on these videos. All right. So without getting into it more, let's talk about the astrology that's going on right now. So just like I said on the video, we have Mercury retrograde coming on the 10th of May, wherever you are, 10th or 11th, depending on that whole period. But the reality with Mercury retrograde is it's a process. We've actually been in the shadow period. Now, the shadow period on either side of the retrogrades talks about the time before the retrograde, because the planet Mercury is going to come back over what you've been doing over the past few weeks. It's going to go back over that time and give you a chance to renew it. So that's what Mercury retrograde is doing. But this particular, now it happens a few times a year. And just like all the astrology, I'm here to guide you in how to use this energy. So this year, we've got the Mercury retrogrades in air signs, which means that it's all about communication and sharing messages. And what we've got during this particular retrograde is it's smack in the middle of the eclipse window I talked about last week, between the end of April, where we just moved into May, and then we get into the 2-week period, the 15th, 16th time. That's between the new moon and the full moon. And we had an eclipse. There was an eclipse of the sun, and there will be an eclipse of the moon. And this period in the middle, right at in the middle, and the 10th, right smack in the middle of this window, is when we're going to experience both Mercury deciding, wait a minute, I need to go back and review this stuff. I need to go make sure that it is right, combined with Jupiter the same day, you guys, moving into Aries, where it has been in Pisces thinking about expanding what are our dreams, thinking about what we're thinking about doing, planning, deciding if it's for us, and maybe trying things that haven't been working very well. Because in this shadow period, you might have been stalled on things. You were go, go, go. I want to go, go, go because it was Aries season when it happened for all of us. We've been there for a couple weeks. And now we're feeling it as this eclipse happened and Jupiter's moving in here and it wants to expand these ideas. But we've got the retrograde saying, hold on a minute, not to mention the square with Saturn and Uranus saying, okay, the new, it has to be the new. In case you were trying to go back to something old over the past couple weeks, this is the time you're going to find it's going to fail because the new thing is going to show up right now. This is when it comes in. So the 10th. So what we're working up to that's why everything's gray. Everything's not developed yet because I'm still working out how to do it the right way, how to get the right equipment, how to get the right lighting. That's just one little example about my studio that's happening. Now I still have my other studio set up. I'm doing tomorrow's video there. This is an experiment. You're going to be doing a lot of experiments during this time think about what Mercury talks about, communication and the way you share messages. Perhaps you've been trying to make some shifts. Perhaps you got the workbook. Perhaps you've been trying to do some things, but you're trying to figure out, I don't know how to make the plan work. I don't know how to be consistent with it. I don't know how to put it together. This Mercury retrograde gives you a chance. It's going to go back and sneak into the last part of Pisces, where you'll get a chance to revisit and think about just the very, very last bits of it. It's going to go back to, but for the most part, it's going to be hanging out here in Gemini, it's between Gemini and go backwards into Taurus. Taurus is where we build things and make things happen. That's where these moons are going on. The sun and the moon eclipses in Taurus, where we build our future, where we build our foundations. If you aren't doing it right, it's going to break down. And I'm just telling you, be wary for the breakdowns. I myself had it happen to me yesterday, literally was pushing myself too hard and had an episode where I was like, all right, my health was in question and I had to take a minute and realize that all of this evolution takes a toll on us, you guys. We change and we wait and we're waiting for this to happen or we're waiting for that person to go. We're waiting for the parts to be delivered. We're waiting for the papers to be signed. We're waiting for other people to get ready to do their thing. This is where we're in this limbo time until the 10th. When it's retrograde, it's like, all right, it's actually go time to review, revisit, do all of that. So it's a very important time for you to be doing the hard work for language facilitation. That's what I'm here to talk to you about. And so how I can help you is through my videos. And if you've got a late talking child and you're on the late talking journey and any of this ideas of starts and stops and I need to go back and I need to restart and I want to really get my plan going, these are the videos that are going to help you. And the first one is this one. Remember, all the links for these videos are in the description. So you can use this video. It's how to use Mercury retrograde. I made it a year ago when there was Mercury retrograde going on, and for language facilitation. So this video is going to literally tell you how to look at the charts, look at your own chart, look at your child's chart, figure out where it's happening, and then you can figure out what are the things surrounding your language facilitation journey. You're never ending your journey, but what is affecting it now? What's changing it now? Remember, blockages come in the form of physical things, environmental things, and mindset things. So we just talked last week about allergy season. Maybe it's a physical thing that's coming into your situation and you need to revisit, how do we do allergies and language facilitation? Maybe, again, there's changes going on in your child's schooling, or things are starting or stopping in the next couple weeks. People are relocating, a lot of things going on with people reviewing where you are and making sure that you're starting out on the right foot. I don't want to bring anything into this new space that I don't need. So there's going to be a lot of stuff donated and sold and thrown out. And in the process of my evolution, because I'm traveling light, I think that's the other thing about this is we are leaving behind baggage. We're leaving behind old toys and junk we don't use anymore. Leave behind old people who don't resonate with you anymore. It's okay. The wait lists are long. They've got other families that want to join them. If you feel like it's time for you to make your exit, to start your own foundations from your own self, because you've learned from visiting the therapist, you've learned from the therapist that visit you, you learn from my videos, you learn from your own trial and error. And that learning process is just really kicking in now. Mercury retrograde is about us learning what works, what doesn't. We want to keep and do more of what works. We want to get rid of what doesn't so that we can move forward when this retrograde goes back into Gemini, pushing forward through into the big warm part of the season and all the Cancer and Leo part of it. As it flies moving forward again, you're going to see a difference in your late talkers' communication. They're going to have a better foundation. That's if you do the work for the Mercury retrograde. So use that video. All right, here's another. How to make smart investments for the best speech results. These are not just financial investments. It's time, it's money, it's energy all of it's energy. Investment is energy, what you are putting out to get what you want. Smart investments, because you have to put out something. You have to take action. It's not going to happen like, oh, I wish my kid would start talking, without somebody doing something. Somebody's got to motivate this late talker to get on the plan, to start practicing speech, to listen better and focus more and try to improve their own talking. This is what we're motivating on the Waves of Communication channel. And remember, your late talkers revisiting. Is this the way I want to do this? Is this the way I like to sit with my family? Is this the way I want to do it? Your late talker will also make an investment in their language facilitation work if you show them how to be smart. They want it easy. They want it happy. They want it to feel safe and not scary. And they want it to be fun. And if you learn how to do that using my resources, then you can make it happen. This is the time to figure out what's not working and what is. Okay. And make more investment in the things that are working. That video is going to help you out. The third video that I have for you today is this one. 5 tips to help earn the late talker's trust. And that's because in the whole period of reviewing, remember, we find out things that don't work for us and we know why. I don't want to go to this person because I don't trust them. They didn't deliver what they said they were going to deliver. It cost more than I thought. They said it would only be this long and it's longer. They said I would be able to work with my child and in the session, and now they've taken them back by themselves with other kids, and because of HIPAA regulations, I can't go. These are the kinds of things that I'm hearing, right? And that's the kinds of things that cause you to distrust the people you're working with. Remember, your late talker is also every single minute, every single engagement that you have with them. The late talker is testing you to see if they can trust you. They're triggering you 24/7 with the things they know will get you to respond to them, hopefully in a positive way. But some of the things they do might trigger you to respond in a negative kind of way. That's teaching the late talker that when they do that thing, they're going to get that response from you. It's up to you during this period of time to be very, very conscious about what you're doing to earn the late talker's trust, because again, they're not going to work hard unless they feel like they can trust that you're going to help them. They think talking is hard. They think it's challenging. That's why they choose to use other ways to communicate with you. But they are also reviewing. If you've been trying language facilitation, your late talkers are reviewing what's been happening over the past couple of weeks. They notice if you're giving them more information instead of testing and prompting them. They notice if you're giving them time to respond and you're actually interpreting out loud their actual communications, all of that stuff. So That's what's going on right now in every family of late talking kids. It's just that's what's going on because we've got this energy going on. Everybody's testing and seeing, is it right for me? Am I trying it? And so you get a lot of people who appear to be flaky around you because this is trial and error time. And so that's why we don't sign big contracts during the retrograde. I'm making my move before the retrograde starts so that I make sure that I'm in place for the retrograde in my new location so I can start to figure out how to make what I used to do in a new way, in a new place for me. That's why it's a physical difference. And the mindset about what am I leaving? What am I keeping? Do I really still need this thing? Or maybe I really need more of these. What am I buying on Amazon? And what, you know what I mean? Everybody's thinking about these things right now. And in your journey, as you set up your daily activities with the late talker, think about what you're trying to facilitate, what you're trying to hack through these days, because that's what we're doing during Mercury retrograde is our opportunity to hack away, to get the machetes out and explore uncharted territory. Now, we've been here before. It's not really uncharted territory yet. That's what's good about it, is we are reviewing places we've been. And so we know it and we're creating it better so that we can move forward into uncharted territory and get better results. That's it. The whole point of retrogrades is to help you evolve. And this one that's in the middle of the eclipse is here to help you evolve faster. It's here to help you evolve faster. What happened with my health was I literally passed out. I checked out. I've never been, even when I dream, I have a lot of mental activity, but my blood pressure dropped so low that I checked out completely. And I feel like that was my body's eclipse. That was a very quick minute. My blood pressure dropped. I passed out. I woke up. I purged. I threw up. I did a bunch of stuff. I know it's TMI, but I'm here to tell you that you could be feeling, if you're very energetically connected, if you like to watch these videos and you're kind of into the woo woo like I am, the people who like me to pull cards for them and all that stuff, you could be feeling physical ascension symptoms like I do. One of the astrologers that I watch talks a lot about solar information, solar flares and there have been buckets of them. That's part of why during Mercury retrograde time, the equipment goes wacky is because of solar flares. They interfere with the waves. It's all waves of communication, right? And even the energy that you feel between you and the late talker, between you and the computer and me out there when I send out energy to all of you. This is how our future is going, I believe. This is how we're going to really make sure that we get the outcomes that we want, that we have the things that we need. All right, so let's pull a card for everybody. Whether you're watching live or on the replay, I know I do these videos randomly. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel or liked on Facebook or wherever, yeah, you're going to be missing the opportunity because you never know when I go live. These energy videos happen when the universe says it's time. And they're sometimes not planned until the day of, kind of like today's. So, all right, let's get to this and figure out why this happened. All right. What's going on for this next week? Let's hug it out. Okay, let's look at the image on here. Let's hug it out. And over here, we've got a little reset button. You see? And what it says here is forgive and learn. It's not going to want to. Come on. All right, I'll read it for you because it's not going to want to focus. Again, bear with my technology, you guys. Hopefully you can all see and hear me okay, and at least the information's getting through, and that's the most important. But it says forgive and learn. So remember, we're reviewing. This is retrograde time we're getting ready for. You're setting up yourself during this week because it starts on the 10th. You're setting yourself up this week for the replay, for the review, for the rewind, right? And this says hug it out. So all the stuff that triggered you during that last period of time, that's what's potentially going to come up for you to heal through, right? It says here, forgive and learn. Late talkers need reassurance that you still love them, especially when their behavior causes you to be frustrated and react with yelling or punishment. Sometimes kids will come and pinch you and you can't help yourself. You react and pinch them back, or, that kind of business. That's yelling, that's punishment, that's a reaction to the communication that the late talker gave. And maybe it was their reactive communication, but what were they reacting to? Let's read what it says. Apologize for your own reactions, because remember, you are modeling the behavior you want the late talker to do. And we all overreact. We all say and do things in the moment, coming out of energy that flies out of us, that we don't intend, or that we want to take back, or that we want more, again, we need forgiveness for, because we didn't mean it, and it just happens because we all get triggered. So offer hugs and hold quiet space when it happens. Acknowledge that you have to be the bigger one. You have to get, boy, I'm triggered. And what he's triggered. Wow, what triggered him? I bet it was me, or something around. You'll find out, physical, environmental, or mindset. Something happened to cause this situation. And so what you have to do is just calm it down and hold space, and remind that everybody that, whoops, a mistake happened, reset button. That's why the reset button's on here, because that's what we want you to do, is just connect and say, oh boy, things went sideways here. What are we going to do? And then wait till they're calm and accepting of their guidance. And then before you start asking them questions, what do you want? What did I do? What is wrong? What's here? What's that? Blah, 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 blah. Because you immediately want to apologize and make it better and do all that stuff, which is awesome if you do want to do that. But the reality is, you don't even know how to do that. And you're reacting at first to their reactions with your yelling or whatever. But ultimately, you want these behaviors to change. You don't want them to stay nonverbal pinching. You want it to evolve into saying words about why you got triggered. That's what we're going for here. So you have to model what that looks like. Show the late talker, whoa, everybody got triggered and we just had a little explosion here. Let's bring it back down and talk it through. But you can't ignore it. You have to deal with it. You have to talk through it. But ultimately, now that you're seeing it from everybody's perspective, oh, he's mad about this, or I'm mad about that, or I was having a bad day, all those things that you ask for forgiveness. Sorry, I did it because XYZ justification. That's what you got to ask the late talker for. I'm really sorry. Wow, things got out of hand. Let's move forward. And then down here, you have to get a contract, a new contract that says you're ready to move on doing something new. It says right here at the bottom, are you ready to move on? And you want to make sure that the late talker is before you move on. Don't just say it to say, all right, because you're ready to move on. It doesn't mean the late talker is. Or maybe the late talker's ready to move on, but you're not. You've got to make sure that you reestablish everybody's ready to move on, because your current emotions have been acknowledged and responded to instead of reacted to. And that's how we're going to do all that. All right. So I'm not seeing any comments coming in today. I see there's a couple people who are watching live. If you are interested in having me pull a card specifically for you, go ahead and make a comment here and I'll pull a card out. But while I'm on and I'm in a good mood and things are working pretty well in the new studio, I'll pull one more for you and let's see what it says. It says, be patient with me. And during retrograde time, this is going to be super, super important. The guidance on the back says process anxiety together. Hello. So interesting that I got this card, considering that's what I didn't do very well by myself. And I actually had to have some help from people around me to process my anxiety, because it comes when you don't expect it, right? And I literally passed out and needed help from people. And what was so interesting is that I live alone. And it happened when I was in public with other people. So there were other people around to help me. It's just very interesting how these synchronistic things happen when you are energetically connected. Okay. So this says late talkers may resist new situations. Here we go. Going back to the retrograde. I like the old thing. I want to hold the old thing. I want to go back to the old thing, right? The old thing doesn't help them evolve. Late talkers like comfort zones. Okay. So when they don't trust that the teacher will take the time to understand their fears and accommodate their needs. And we just talked about that video. I gave you 5 ways to earn their trust, so they try hard. Okay. And it says, before you expect performance, it's really a good dovetail right after this other card we had. Before you expect performance, talk through any environmental fear triggers and establish calm, right? Review your plan of action as well as available resources for problem solving any unforeseen emergencies, right? The triggers, unforeseen emergencies is Mercury retrograde on a card. Stuff breaks down, communication breaks down, technology breaks down. And why does it do? It causes you to have a pause. And you could have a big pause, like, whoa, no access to anything for a period of time as your reset button. Mercury eclipses are resets, and Mercury retrogrades are the opportunity to replay and review and get it better. All right. I see Blondie has a question here. Let's see. We'll start with the other one. I'm trying your techniques for my 4-year-old. He's had numerous ear infections, even with tubes put in. We found out he has minor hearing loss in one ear. This can happen because the ear tubes fail, or the kids get wax, or they move around, they fall out. Or they just are so, it's seasonal, right? We talked about this last week with the allergies. They could be having a lot of mucus, and it comes and goes and comes and goes, and minor hearing loss in one ear. So it says the other good hearing. The other good hearing was always covered impacted wax, so you can't see the tube. So there you go. That's exactly what we're going to talk about. So it says he's going to see a pediatric ENT instead of a regular ENT. Hopefully she can figure out what's causing recurring ear infections. So yes, that's good. And you can also look at, talk with them. Let's go back here. Talk with them about, remember, reviewing. I love this. Is a perfect Mercury retrograde situation. We know there is a problem. We have done a revision. There has been surgery. Ear tubes are put in. Now they're not working so well. The ear infections keep coming back, but then the one had wax. So that's part of what that problem was. I guarantee that's a biggie. And so your new ENT, if they don't give you advice about this, ask them for, how do we keep wax at bay? Is there, they got all these kind of cool things you can get on Amazon or wherever you are from. You can order from China, that are these devices that are not Q-tips, because Q-tips are not good, but they help you flush out kids' ears. And you have to be careful with the tubes. You can't use the water ones. You have to use the ones like that, the screw in, or whatever. I don't know. Look for those things and ask the doctor to give you a focus about, the ENT is going to understand the tube situation and why you can't pour water in there. So they're going to help you work on the wax, hopefully without medicines or anything like that, because some kids just get a lot of it. And that's part of why they get ear infections. And some people just put tubes almost prematurely, thinking that's going to solve everything, but they haven't looked at the outer ear. So your ENT is going to help you with that for sure. It says here he uses a lot of nonverbal communication and has for a long while now, and says some words. I stopped prompting and started using movement. Excellent. Talking in a beat. And boy, does he really pay attention, especially movement and talking in a beat. That's wonderful. The movement and beat is working so far. Excellent. So this is what you really want to, it's a perfect Mercury retrograde situation. Thank you for sharing, Blondie. And I really appreciate that. We're going to pull a card for you, because with this level of attention, you're going to the pediatric ENT, you're paying attention to behavior, you're paying attention to what works for you and what your lay talker finds easy, happy, safe, and fun. And you're just doing that. You're throwing at the wall and seeing what sticks, right? That's how we know when the pasta's done. So you just keep trying these things and watch and observe and review and try and error and try and error. And you will see how it's going. So she says this current ENT is going to clean out the wax a second time, but it keeps coming back. So talk about how you can monitor that and all that. So let's see. Oh, wait, here's one more thing. She's coming in. We're having a little mini session here for you. And those of you watching on the replay, this is how coaching goes in my program. If you end up finding me live on a video, now you can experience what it's like to work with me. You ask questions, we dig in, we find out why things are happening. You get suggestions to figure out what's going on to move you forward. If you want to know what to do every day, all day, and have me hold your hand through it, then that's what coaching is. You can find all of that on wavesofcommunication.com. So here you go. The current ENT just wants him assessed with, which is speech therapy, doesn't agree with and neither do we, as the ear infections are recurring and needs to be addressed before the assessment. The ENT just wants them assessed maybe for autism. Yeah, no, it's don't be sorry. She's a sorry, don't be sorry. Never be sorry. I'm so glad that people are interested enough in my guidance to take it and use it. I want you to feel good about this journey with your late talkers because it's challenging. You are constantly problem solving as parents every day, especially when you're in the middle of these ENT issues. And we've got allergy season and we've got changes of season. Like I said, even if there is not allergies or you didn't even think your child ever had allergies, they might. And maybe now you're noticing it. So I think these are the things that you can pay attention to. Let's pull in language facilitation resource card for you, Blondie. Thank you again so much for sharing your information with other parents. So if you yourself are in the situation, you've got a late talker who has ear tubes, they still keep getting infections. There also are videos on my channel to work with kids that are not hearing well right now. And actually, Blondie just told us what to do. It's this: talking, using movement and talking in a beat. He pays more attention to what she's saying now. The movement and the beat is working. And that's, again, what's motivating him to do it for you. All right, here's your card right out of the middle. Let's stop fighting. Ooh, yeah. So if you've got people on your team, I'm not sure who you're fighting with or who's trying to fight with you, but keeping the peace about this situation is going to be really important because motivation requires a happy family, a happy situation, and level of confidence that you can trust what you're doing is working, because people around you, like you said, this one feels something, this one feels something else. They want them assessed for autism, maybe is what you're trying to say. The ENT says, oh, earwax, you're trying to solve problems. Like I love when you're in denial about autism because you're focusing all on these ENT issues. This happens a lot with families. Maybe that's what people are fighting with you about, is they're like, no, you don't get it. Your son has every single red flag for autism spectrum disorder. And you're like, yeah, but you don't get it. My son also has every single red flag for retention of ear fluid and frustration from lack of being able to hear. Okay. That looks a lot like autism. And so if doctors recommend doctors, right? When I went to the doctor, they recommend go see a cardiologist. But every test they did was fine. My blood pressure's fine. I even had a CT scan of my chest. Everything is fine, but they still said maybe you should go see a cardiologist because they've got extra tests that we don't do, that they're going to look for something wrong. And I'm like, well, what are they going to do? Prescribe medicine that I don't want to take? I'm healthy. I just had a periodic episode. So that's the other thing. It's periodic. Ear infections. I know it's a long period. Sometimes it's a year too. It's a long period that you're dealing with this ear fluid stuff, but it is temporary. It's temporary. That's again what the eclipse shows us, is that, yeah, there is opportunity every single day for chaos. There is. You can choose whether you grab what I talk about when you grab in the waves of communication. We're riding the waves up and down. Sometimes they're high and we are surfing and we're going really fast. Other times we're feeling very calm and it's very slow and it's very deep and dark below us. And there's anchors and gremlins and all kinds of stuff down there that are tempting us to grab onto, to dig down into the deeps of depression and despair and whatever. And that can be people around you. This card says, I didn't read the back, be response able. That's all you got to do, is just be response able and pay attention when people try to trigger you. Because that's the other thing. Remember, if they've got systems that they don't want to go away, the things that are breaking down, education, healthcare, bank, I mean, it's all going to be breaking down. We can't avoid change with this astrology, little things to big things. And as people try desperately to hold on to the old ways of doing things, then they're going to be disappointed. and they're going to get triggered when you say no thank you. I'm done with the old ways. I'm going to figure out my own new way. I'm not even sure what that way looks like yet. I'm using my time to figure it out, right? And so you always have a choice to respond when people trigger you with love instead of fear. And you do that when you're triggered. It says literally when you're triggered by a late talker's or anyone else's behavior. Pause for a second. Role in so in the doctor's office, you all right? If they're going to be telling you go 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 do this thing, then that's the situation. You say thank you or no thank you and move on to your own plan. That's what I suggest. So, and decide to choose the response that you will be proud of when you look back on this situation. Like I said, thank you or no thank you is a lot better than you're not listening to me. You don't see what we say. The speech therapist obviously knows your child a lot better than this ENT who you talk him once and you took him back. And he probably doesn't like the way that the ENT is doing the wax removal. So he's reacting to that situation. And the ENT doesn't like kids that are not sitting and whatever, all that. You know what I mean? Maybe this pediatric ENT will helping, I don't know. So it's about finding the situations around you that are going to work for you and making it all work. Okay, so it's time for me to get going out of here for this week's Energy Focus video. Thanks again for joining me today. I know we had a little bit of a rant, got big energies going on, so it is time for you to take action. Remember, you can always visit wavesofcommunication.com to learn about all of my resources, my books, my courses, my coaching sessions. I do what I do to provide you what you need to equip and empower your late talker to do the work to improve their speech, right? Because nobody's going to program it out of it. You're not going to pull them out. They're going to talk when they're ready. And your job as the facilitator is to motivate them and make it happen. And you can learn everything you need to get that process, from buying a book and reading it on your own or a course, all the way up to me handing you a hand holding for a lifetime coaching program that will take you as far as you want. Chatterbox City. That's what we're going for every single late talker. Their best spoken language possible based on their physiology and environment and mindset. That's all we can do, is the best we can do. So I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Let me see. There's a couple more comments in here. Blondie says, thank you for your work and thank you for your comments. Thank you for viewing this video today, whether you're live on the replay, sending you out all the best energy for this big period of time. Now, tomorrow, don't forget to join me. Let me put this away, because tomorrow is live Q&A day. And tomorrow I'm going to be talking about bullying. And similar to how we talked about today, that it's interesting that it came about fighting, because it's about kids that get bullied when they are late talking and they're not using their best speech and they're using behaviors instead, and parents who get bullied when they don't do what other people think they should do because they're triggered by your late talker's behavior. Communication, all communicate behavior is communication, all communication is behavior. So which ones are you facilitating? That's up to you. Okay, everybody. Thanks again for joining me today, and I will see you tomorrow on my next Q&A video, 11 a.m. Eastern every Thursday. And that's it for now. Bye for now.